Hi, this is Mawusi, and I'm making another video on my ayahuasca experience. For anybody that may not know what ayahuasca is, it's two roots that are indigenous to the Amazon in Peru. Well, not in Peru, it's everywhere. All the Amazons is where it grows. And it's known in South America as the grandmother root because of what it does to you. It has like psychedelic powers, and it goes in your body, and you can almost feel it doing something. You don't know what it is. They say it's healing your body. It's said it flushes your liver and your kidneys, and it gets all the toxins out, and then it reveals things to you, so that to tell you where you need to go next, or it brings up old feelings that you may not have realized you were still burying, and you're carrying it in your body, and it's affecting your health. So I went to this ceremony at this Finca Inti farm. It's a quote-unquote Indian reservation, on an Indian reservation, whatever. But I only say that because the whole Indian thing drives me nuts. But anyway, the ceremony, we had to go up, way up this mountain. That was a challenge. You get up to the top, and it's this pavilion, and it's these boxes built with mattresses laying on it, and then you pick one. It was 4 of us, and the guy gives you a bucket. He starts putting down like crystals and different rocks and shells and different things. He builds a fire, and then he starts burning jade, incense and actual jade crystals. He got like the embers out of the fire and then poured the crystals on it, and then he went around the perimeter cleansing the perimeter, and then one by one he calls everyone up, and he blows it in your face, your body, your legs, turns you around, under your arms, just cleansing your body of all negative energy. Then it's some kind of root he puts in a thing, and he, with a ball on the end, and it crushes it up into like a powder. And he made mine specific for multiple sclerosis. And well, he caters everybody's to them. And what it is, he sticks one side of the thing up your nose and blows, and all that powder goes up in your nose. It does both sides. So then you sit around for he does that to each person, and you sit around for like an hour. And you could feel it, but it's like, you just feel a little loopy, Then the actual ceremony starts. So it's not really a ceremony. One by one, we all come up, and he pours this liquid in a coconut, little tiny coconut, and then you drink from it. And it's like a mouthful, like a big gulp. And then he's like, go lay down. And then we all sat around. He's kind of talking a little bit, and then you start getting really sleepy. And I didn't actually fall asleep, but I was like dozing. And then you start feeling weird, but you can't explain how you're feeling. And you're like, ugh. And mine now, it's like a couple hours have passed by. So we're just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, my body just starts shaking like I was having an epileptic seizure. And then it just stopped. I was like, okay, that was weird. And I was feeling real nauseous, like I wanted to throw up. And he explained to us that we are going to throw up. And that when you throw up, you're throwing up all your negative feelings so that the next person may feel your feelings. So he was like, if the person next to you throw up, it may immediately make you start crying. It is that energy, and you felt that energy as you was going up the mountain to that area. And Then all of a sudden I started seeing flashes of lights. Then things like there's a glitch in the matrix, you know, that, and I'm like, okay, it just does it and it goes away. Then you're just sitting there feeling nauseous, and then the girl on the end, you didn't hear her throw up, but you heard it was so much throw up pouring into the bucket. Everybody has a bucket. And it was like all of a sudden the guy next to her started singing. Moaning. I started crying, and then the guy next to me started singing. It was like a chain reaction. And then, I started shaking again, and then it stopped, and then the flashes kept coming. And I'm like, okay, what is happening? My head was spinning. It was like, then all of a sudden, I just started like uncontrollably crying. It was like, it was bringing up things in my life. I won't say that I haven't dealt with, but things that are probably still weighing on me or whatever, like the death of my father. And then it brought up, and then right after I went through that, I just started throwing up violently. I mean, it was just like, and then I felt better. It was like I was throwing up those feelings. And then feelings about my children came up. And then I started crying uncontrollably and shaking, like I was just like going through an epileptic seizure. And then I threw up just violently. It was, to the point where right now, this was last night, my throat and my tongue is hurting so bad. That's how violently I was throwing up. And every time I threw up, I felt better. And then in my head just kept repeating the serenity prayer. I don't know why. I wasn't doing it. It was just repeating on a loop, And then next thing I started seeing this arrow, just this arrow, like you know how like on a highway the arrow goes, it was like that, but it was flat and it was like going in the middle of the air, but it was just like going. I'm like, what am I looking at? The next thing you know, at the end of the arrow, there was a plant there. And I'm like, what is this plant? And then it just went away. And I'm like, okay, what is this trying to tell me something? Maybe this is a plant that I need that's going to help my body. Maybe, because although I made a huge transformation when I came down here, I'm not healed. Definitely not healed. I still have extreme fatigue. I won't say extreme, because it was extreme in the U.S. It's fatigue. I feel a lot better, but it's still, I'm shaky a lot of times. I get tired fast. My strength is like, I still feel like a little spacey a lot of times. I go into these fogs where for days I can't think straight. It's like, I can't explain what was going on, but it was crazy. One girl was like rolling around in the grass, just laughing, and then she started crying. It was like the whole thing was so weird, and everybody was feeding off everybody's energy. And then next thing you know, everybody just and went to sleep. But I couldn't sleep because God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, the wisdom it just kept repeating in my head. And I was like, okay, I get it. It's like reinforcing and just really helping me to understand that there is nothing in life you can change but you. And until we understand that, really understand that, we're always going to do crazy things. Like me trying to convince my kids of certain things. You can't make nobody do anything. And you will drive yourself to insanity trying to. Only thing you could change is you and nothing else. And then the courage is to understand that and make that change. And understanding that you may have to give up. And it's okay, because this is a choice that I'm making, and I can't be upset because somebody won't make the same choice, or they can't see my vision, although I know it is best for them. But it's not for me to tell them that. They have to see it on their own, or they'll never really receive it. So I would advise anyone to try ayahuasca. It's natural. It's an herb. And matter of fact, Fox News even did something on it. Of course, it was in print. It wasn't on TV. They ain't gonna let you see that. Well, it shows how a woman took ayahuasca and now she has no MS symptoms, which lets you know that it is not a disease. Your body is in dis-ease. Every disease there's no such thing as a disease. Your body is in a dis-ease. You're lacking, or you have too much of something. And as we know, we don't eat food in the United States, so we're definitely lacking. The vitamins are worthless. The water is tainted. The air is poisoned. The pollution, the fluoride. I mean, it's just so much that's so toxic. Then of course the U.S. houses all these demons, and it's like all that negative energy just flows and it gets into you, and you can't be in the presence of evil and continue to be okay. It's gonna affect you. You have to remove yourself from it. And I understand it's that culture in the U.S. to pretend like we're okay when everybody is fucking batshit crazy. But ayahuasca is like, it sends you down a path. And what's crazy is the guy who performed it, his daughter came down in the morning. She's like 8. And she was just talking to everybody, and, she was asking me about, how did I like it? What was my experience? And she was saying, like, I was asking her, does she ever help her father? And she was like, no, but I come to the ceremonies and watch. I mean, he's done hundreds of them. So, we was just talking. I was telling her about the arrow, and she was like, which way was it pointing? And I was like, it was pointing this way. And she looked, leaned her head, and she looked, and she goes, it was pointing at the ayahuasca tree. She was like, you need to come back. And I was like, wow. And what's funny is that when we was leaving, one of the ladies was like, she was like, you have to come back. She said, she wasn't even listening to me and the little girl talking, but she was saying, if this is your first time, it's a process. You're purging, and your body is healing. It's purging it's cleansing your liver, your lungs, and you're purging all the negative emotions that affect your health. Because that's another reason why everybody's so sick in the United States. We're so emotionally distraught from all the poison. It just makes us more sick. It's like, it's a double-edged sword. And so I'm gonna go again next month. Because it just seems like I can't explain, like I'm missing something. Something is trying to tell me something, but I haven't gotten it yet. And I need to release. Now, the guy told me as time goes on, as the days go by, ayahuasca keeps working in your body, and you will find things start happening. He said things will start to become revealed to you. And it's crazy. As we were sitting there talking, all of a sudden I hear my phone turn on. I'm like, I look, pick my phone up, and I opened it up, and a lady that I met a while ago that said she was going to give me some information on herbalists, and I never heard from her. She texted me and was like, oh, sister, I'm sorry. Here's the information on the herbalist, blah, blah, blah. Blast, call me when you can. And then my phone turned off. It was crazy. That energy up there was real. It was just so powerful, and and I believe that each time you go, more and more is revealed to you. More and more, it changes your thought process and your way of thinking, and looking at a lot of the stuff that's going on. I think that constant repetition all night of the serenity prayer really helped me to understand I cannot control anything but me. This place is definitely magical. I understand why people say the energy here, because people here are searching for a higher plane. They want something more out of life. They don't care about material, money, fashion, none of that. they will work just enough to survive. Some of them don't even work. They'll go fish for their food. They grow their own food. Food grows in abundance everywhere. And they build their houses out of any and everything. The tree they cut down in their yard, a guardrail on a highway. I done see somebody's porch being held up by beer crates. I mean, they don't waste anything. Everything is used. And it's something that's so, I don't know, to me, very majestic about them. Seeing this patchwork quilt house made out. I've seen somebody side of their house, just one side of the front was like, it looked like a guardrail, like a couple of guardrails stapled together and then stapled up. I've seen somebody took a piece of driftwood and that's their doorknob. It's just, they don't waste anything. And actually, it's a law here. If you cut down a tree, you have to use the wood. You can't just toss it away or ground it in the sawdust. You have to use it like building furniture, building your house. You have to use it. So recycling is not a big issue here. It's more of an issue because of tourists, because of the plastic bottles and this Coke, and because down here they mainly drink naturales, natural, ground up some watermelon, some sandia, put a little water in it, a couple sprinkles of cane sugar, blend it up, bam, that's your drink. Melocotón, which is peach. I mean, pure. You see them back there chopping this stuff up. This stuff is so pure. No pesticides, no additives, no miracle grow, nothing, just pure unadulterated earth, sun, and air. I mean, rainwater. It rains so much that everything just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. Like, I just took a branch off of a tree, Reina de la Noche tree, stuck it in the ground. Within a month, it was blooming. I'm like, what is this? This place is magical. It's spiritual. Understanding spirituality is on another level. It's understanding how we are connected to the universe and the earth, and how they affect our bodies. The only way people can understand that is the moon. We see high tide and low tide. That's how the moon is affected. You know, when people start acting crazy, people say, it must be a full moon, you know, because they understand that the moon, the elements in the universe are connected to us and they affect us. And it's not just the moon. That's the thing. We only talk about the moon. People who are on a higher plane understand, like the ancient Egyptians, and this is what we have been taken away from in the United States. They took us away and brought us to Christianity because they felt like paying homage to the sun and the rain for helping your crops grow was devil worshiping for whatever reason, and we needed to worship the way they did, this fictitious Bible story that contradicts itself and doesn't even make sense, that actually makes God look like a monster. But I'm glad I've gotten out of that. I'm slowly working, getting all that brainwashing out of my head, the crap that we're told, lied to about. God grant me the serenity to accept the thing. I cannot change the U.S. I cannot change the demonic, sick behavior. But I can change me. I have the courage. I had the courage. I changed my environment. And it's like, as the days go by, the months, the weeks, more and more things are revealed to me. And life is sweeter. There's a mental freedom down here. There's no time. Ayahuasca is something, and it's illegal in the United States. So, why you think it's illegal? Because it grows in the ground and they can't make money off of it. That's why. They'd rather give you some crap that's gonna kill you. But I'm telling y'all, everybody should try ayahuasca. Can't try it from everybody because I heard they do it in California. but I wouldn't trust that. It really needs to be done by somebody in this environment. You can't live in a city and think that you understand. You have to live in nature to really get a grasp on what God is and what the circle of life is. It's on another plane that you can't even comprehend as long as you in this religion worshiping to this fictitious man in the sky that is just sitting there watching everybody year after year after thousands of centuries suffering. That's not God. That's hate. That's craziness. God is when you see a plant grow up out the ground and produce a banana or a mango. When you see a spider walking and a lizard grabs it, and then a cat grabs the lizard, and then a bird grabs the lizard, and then a cat bats the bird out the air, and that's the circle of, that's God. That's how life works. It's seeing the behavior of the animals and how everybody has a job and how everything works in harmony if you come back to nature. There's no need for fighting. There's no need for hating. There's no need, monkeys get along with birds and cats get along with dogs. They're best friends down here. All that cats and dogs are enemy. That's some U.S. brainwashing bullcrap. I mean, they are not natural enemies. When you put somebody, maybe in the U.S. they are, because they're not in a natural environment. They're tied up. They're locked up. I used to believe cats belong in the house because of the crazy brainwashing. They're animals. They're lions. They're baby lions. They are hunters. They're vicious. Cats are something serious. But you have to be in nature to observe this and see how gentle and docile most animals are. And the only reason why they have aggression is because of humans. We screw everything up with our ego. We think we are everything. And really, are we the top of the food chain? The way things are going, the way everybody's killing everybody, poisoning everybody, hating everybody. I mean, how is that part of the food chain, top of the food chain? That sounds more like the bottom. We need to elevate ourselves. We need to elevate our mind, our spirituality, our understanding, and get away from the brainwashing. And I feel that's what a natural environment and infused with ayahuasca is helping me to come to that. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah, you understand it intellectually, but emotionally, you have so many emotions tied to crap when you were growing up that I just like the fact that every time I threw up, it's like a release. Let it go. Try ayahuasca. Peace and love, fam.